It's been a little while since I've talked about this team, but I kind of have to because if you look at the MAC, this might be the best game of the week because we have Western Michigan versus Miami of Ohio. Both teams are 3-0 in conference play, 4-3 on the season. Both teams right up there in the standings. You have Miami of Ohio at number 2. You have Western Michigan at number 3. You have Buffalo 3-0 as well. So there's a lot to play for in this game. And this is going to be a game that's going to be an interesting one because it is at Miami. Miami of Ohio is a 1.5-point favorite going into this game. And you truly have two quarterbacks that if you really look at how they have performed this year, you have to talk about Brock Lowry and just how good he has been since truly taking over kind of the starting job for Western Michigan. He's a guy that can use his legs. He's a guy that has been really good at protecting the ball. He only has one interception on this year. He's a leading rusher for Western Michigan. He's a guy that truly has kind of gotten this offense going a little bit. And this is an offense that averages a little bit over 20 points per game. So it's not going to be your most elite offense, but this is also a defense that has done a pretty good job for Western Michigan for getting stops, kind of not allowing the other team to truly go off, and they've only been giving up about 17 points a game this year. They've been really good in MAC play. They just continue to play really solid offense and solid defense going up against a Miami of Ohio team that probably has a little bit more offensively. If you look at these kind of two rosters, what they have done this year, this is a team that averages about 26 points per game, so it's about a 4-point obviously difference, but they also give up a little bit more defensively as well. So it's going to be obviously an interesting kind of chess match between both of these programs, not only because of how they have performed offensively, defensively this year, but because of just how comparable they are, especially when it comes to the quarterback position, because I've already mentioned Brock Lowry. He's kind of been taking the reign for Western Michigan, really been doing a pretty good job of protecting the ball. But you also have to look at DeQuan Finn, their starting quarterback for Miami of Ohio, leading rusher for them as well. 6 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. So if you're going to really focus on one thing in this game, I think interceptions, I think turnovers is going to be truly a big part of how this game goes, because when Miami of Ohio turns the ball over, if Western can take advantage of those opportunities and keep the ball on their side of the field for a majority of the time, I think that's going to be something that's truly going to make it a game that Western could very much win. That's why this is a really close game, because I think you have two sides that are pretty close athletically to each other, but you also have the ability to have Miami, Ohio make more mistakes. If they make more mistakes, they've seen it this year, there's a real possibility that Western can take advantage of that. Now, do I think that Miami of Ohio has more offensively than Western Michigan? Do I think if it's going to be kind of a high-scoring game, who would I take? I would obviously take Miami of Ohio, but when it's been really close competitive games, it seems like Western Michigan has kind of figured things out a little bit, and I think if it's going to be that close contested game at Miami of Ohio, I think this is going to be a game that could very much play in favor for Western Michigan. And it's going to truly be about who can run the ball in this game, because you have two offenses that are pretty good at both running and passing the ball. They're pretty well balanced. Stopping both those are pretty well balanced as well. This is a big reason why, again, it's a 1.5-point favorite for Miami, Ohio. It's supposed to be a really close game. I think a big reason why Miami of Ohio is kind of that favorite is because it's there, right? Like if it was at Waldo Stadium, Western would be a 1.5-point favorite. I truly think that both of these teams are really close, really competitive. I think there's a few guys that you truly have to kind of keep an eye on for in this game. Obviously, I have already mentioned the two starting quarterbacks, but you have a guy in Cam Perry. You also have a guy in Keith Reynolds, both wide receivers for Miami of Ohio. 514 yards for Cam Perry, 3 touchdowns. He's going to be truly the kind of the guy that I think Western Michigan really wants to keep an eye on for. But Keith Reynolds has had some involvement, 230 yards on the year. And then if you look at what Western has done offensively, I think you have to look at Tyleek Williams, 284 yards. You also have Balin Brooks, 214 yards as well. but it's truly going to be through running the ball. That's something that Western Michigan has continued to do. Jalen Buckley has been really good so far this year, 255 yards. His yards per average isn't great. He only has one touchdown. I think a lot of that has to do with Brock Lowry, just his ability to use his legs in the red zone throughout the field. He has 7 touchdowns this year, 427 yards. I think that in itself really truly plays into a little bit of an advantage of what Western wants to do offensively. When you have a guy like Jalen Buckley, I think he's going to be a guy that's going to complement Brock Lowry in this game. So it's going to truly be obviously more about Miami throwing the ball. They can still run the ball a little bit. I did mention Daquan Finn, but you also have to talk about Jordan Brunson. You also have to talk about Kenny Tracy. They have some guys that have had the ability to run the ball effectively, but it's truly going to be about what can Brock Lowry do? Can he use his legs? Can they throw the ball? Can they take advantage of opportunities if Miami of Ohio and Daquan Finn throw interceptions? If they can, this is a game that I think Western Michigan can win. If they can't, do I think that Miami of Ohio might come out with a victory? Yes, but with all that said, I do think Miami of Ohio is going to make some mistakes. I think Western's playing really well right now. I think they have a really good defense. I think they have a ton of momentum going forward from the last couple of games. So because of that, I have Western Michigan winning this game. I think this is a absolutely huge game for them. I think they know in advance of what's coming next week. I don't think they're going to look beyond that. If they do, I think this is a real possibility that they do lose, but I think they understand that if you end up getting this win, there's a real possibility you could be in that MAC championship in the next couple of weeks. And I think that's a big reason why I truly believe that Western Michigan will get this win and will be celebrating on Saturday before they play Central Michigan, which I have a special guest joining next week to talk about that, so definitely tune in to that as well. But if you enjoyed this, make sure you leave a like, subscribe, comment, all that kind of stuff. I'll obviously recap this game, talk about what happened, but yeah, I really appreciate everyone tuning in to this preview. Make sure you tune into the recap later this week or early next week.